79 degrees 50 minutes east, an intercept of 12.2 miles towards an azimuth of 081 degrees true was obtained by a stellar observation. Vessel then steered a course of 124 degrees true for 81 miles through a current setting 221 degrees true, drift 12 miles, when meridian altitude of the sun gave an observed latitude of 18 degrees 40 minutes south. Find the position of the vessel at the time of second observation. Now, our first observation obviously is by intercept. So we need to get the position through which to draw the PL and also the direction of the PL. But to be able to see through the question, it's important that we make a rough diagram for this question.
Okay, so beta, is the question clear in your mind?
Yes, sir.
So you see they have given us a intercept observation in the morning. The intercept is given, the azimuth is given to us, we have the DR position, so we have all the required information to plot. Then we steered a course of 124 for 81 miles. There was a current also which was setting 221 with a drift of 12 miles. And after steaming this much, a Murpha's observation gave us a observed lat of 1840. So in these kind of questions, it is better that you first make a rough diagram. When you make a rough diagram, it gives you a good idea in the mind how the final plot is going to look like. So it tells you where to draw your latitudes and longitudes. It will give you a good idea about the orientation. So always better in these questions to first make a rough diagram. You can make it on your answer sheet and mark it as a rough diagram. Once the rough diagram is there and you put all the required information in that diagram, you will get a good idea of how to make the final plot. So let's now proceed ahead and see the solution.
And then figure out which part we have to calculate mathematically and then eventually perform the plotting part. Here we have the DR which comes up here, the time of first observation. Azimuth that time is 081, comes up on the screen. Intercept is towards, 12.2 miles towards, represented by blue line. This is the ITP, and here you have point X as the ITP, and you get the first PL. Now, vessel is somewhere on this PL passing through X at the time of morning, or the first observation rather. Now, what do we do then? Now we have to apply the run and the current. We allow for current. So we take any point on the first PL, and obviously point X stands out by default, being the ITP. So we apply the ship's run from X. We apply this course of 124 degrees for 81 miles, and that gives us the point Y. Now all this plot is not to scale, it is rough plotting. At Y we apply the current, 221 for 12 miles, and we get point Z. From chart work knowledge, we know X to Z is our CMG and distance made good, CMG and DMG. Now we know that point X stands transferred to point Z. So point X, to which the first PL is drawn, is now transferred to point Z. That means if we can mathematically calculate point Z, provided we know the coordinates of point X. But we do not have the coordinates of point X. On the contrary, we have the coordinates of this DR. But we know the direction of X and the distance. So if you see, if I have to see from this DR and I have to come to point Z, then this is one leg that needs to be done. This is the second leg, and this is the third leg which has to be covered. So instead of, you see, there could be two ways of doing it. One is you calculate the coordinates of X, but that is again going to be time consuming. If we just put all these three legs together using the day's work concept, which we are all very familiar with, we can directly get the coordinates of point X. So this diagram is not to the scale, but let's see now if we work out the coordinates of X.
Beta, up to here is the question clear? This is just a rough diagram, and why we have made this rough diagram is to get an idea how to start our plotting and calculation. So have a good look at this rough diagram, and let me know if you have any doubts at any step.
सर कॉस्ट मेड गुड के ऊपर हम इनिशियली करंट अप्लाई करते हैं और कॉस्ट टू स्टीयर के ऊपर बाद में सर, बट हमें ये कैसे पता चला जो क्वेश्चन में गिवन है कॉस्ट टू स्टीयर है कॉस्ट मेड गुड है, मतलब
बेटा उसने
ये
बताया
समझा
है
दो सर प्लीज
vessel,
थोड़ा सर थोड़ा।
okay.
अच्छा स्टीयर्ड,
Yes, he is given in the question, vessel has steered a course of 124 and 81 miles. So we know this is our CTS.
कि स्टीयर्ड
Right,
मतलब
that's right.
सीटीएस ले लेंगे सर सीधा ही।
Yes, that's right, beta. Whatever you steering is the CTS, course to steer. CTS means course to steer.
ठीक है सर।
सर ये जिस इस क्वेश्चन में 81 माइल्स का सेट है, जैसे मतलब 81 माइल्स हमको ट्रैवल करना है, पर चार्ट पे तो उतनी जगह होती नहीं है, तो ये सिर्फ कैलकुलेट करेंगे हम कि एक्चुअल में ड्रॉ करेंगे, प्लॉट करेंगे?
Yes, beta, you are very right. 81 miles is a very long distance. So we will do it by calculation.
ओके सर, ओके सर।
अभी कैलकुलेट करेंगे
ये
बेटा।
तो सर डेज वर्क वाला ना सर, ये सब करेंगे।
राइट राइट राइट। जैसे बेटा हम डेज वर्क में बहुत सारे कोर्सेज और डिस्टेंसेस के साथ एक साथ अप्लाई करके फाइनल पोजीशन निकालते थे, यहाँ पे भी हमारे पास देखो 3 कोर्सेज और डिस्टेंसेस हैं, 3 लेग्स हैं जिनको हमने अप्लाई करना है। पहली लेग है द इंटरसेप्ट लेग, क्योंकि हमें एक्स की पोजीशन तो पता नहीं है, हमें तो डी आर पोजिशन पता है। सो फ्रॉम द डी आर फर्स्ट लेग इज द इंटरसेप्ट, सेकेंड लेग इज द कोर्स स्टीयर्ड 124 इंटू 81, और जो थर्ड लेग है वो है करंट वाली लेग 221 इंटू 12 माइल्स। इन तीनों को हमने अप्लाई करना है डी आर पे, सो दैट वी ऑब्टेन द कोऑर्डिनेट्स ऑफ पोजीशन Z. Right beta, understood?
Yes sir.
Okay, so shall we move ahead? All doubts cleared?
Yes sir.
Okay बेटा, अब हम आगे ये देख रहे हैं कि ये तीनों की तीनों जो लेग्स हैं, इन लेग्स को एक साथ अप्लाई करके कैसे फाइनल पोजीशन निकाली जा सकती है। इट इज़ बेसिकली द डेज वर्क प्रोसीजर विच यू डिड इन सेकेंड मेट्स ऑल्सो। सो वही प्रोसीजर एक बार हम दोबारा यहाँ पे रिवाइज कर रहे हैं। इसके लिए हमने ये एक टेबल बना लिया है जिसमें हम पहले कोर्स डालते हैं, फिर डिस्टेंस, देन डीलैट एंड डिपार्चर। दिस इज़ द सेम टेबल विच वी मेड इन डेज वर्क क्वेश्चन।
This table we are all very familiar in the day's work. So in the remarks we have the first would be this intercept leg. Why? Because why we are using this intercept thing here is, though this is before reaching the PL, but this is because we know the coordinates of the DR. So we have DR to ITP, course will be 081 degrees, which is north 81 east, distance will be 12.2 miles. We'll have northerly delat, easterly departure, which you're all familiar with. Second leg would be the vessel steaming on a course of 124 degrees true, converted to quadrantal, distance 81 miles, and obtained the departure, delat and departure. And the last is the effect of current, 221 degrees, converted to quadrantal, 12 miles the drift, and we get delat and departure. Then we total up the delat and departure in each column, and we get total. And using the values in the two columns, we get the resultant of delat and departure. So we get resultant delat of 52.5 minutes south. This resultant delat is the delat from dr lat to latitude of point Z. And our point of interest is point Z. As long as I can get the coordinates of point Z, I'm not interested in the coordinates of point X.
So up to here clear beta?
सर ये 1.9 कैसे आया सर ये इसमें इलियट के कॉलम में?
ओके बेटा हमने
तो सर
यहाँ
फार्मूला से लिया होगा ना सर?
यस, प्लेन एंड पैरेलल सेलिंग बेटा, d lat is
Sin
equal
cos.
to
हाँ।
distance cos course. So just punch in your calculator 12.2 into cos of 81. You will get this value.
ओके सर।
इसके लिए बेटा प्लेन एंड पैरेलल सेलिंग के फॉर्मूला याद रखने पड़ेंगे, which is t lat is equal to distance cos course. What is the formula for departure? Anyone remembers?
Sine course, sir. Distance sine.
Very good. It is distance sine course.
पहला
Very
वाला
good.
कॉस कोर्स, दूसरा वाला साइन
सर ये
कोर्स।
फर्स्ट डेसिमल तक ही लेने हैं या 2 डेसिमल प्लेसेस तक लेने हैं?
Oh, 1 decimal place is enough बेटा। हम लोग डीलैट और डिपार्चर की जो एक्यूरेसी है, we take up to only 1 decimal place, no more.
ओके सर।
ओके और बताओ बेटा, और क्या डाउट है अभी तक?
मैं क्योंकि हमने इंटरसेप्ट पहले ही मतलब आईटीसी को इन अकाउंट ले लिया है, तो जेड पे सीधे एक तरीके से आप पीएल बना सकते हैं ना, इंटरसेप्ट नहीं बनाना पड़ेगा।
Yes बेटा, that is right, that is right. You can straight away draw the PL now passing from Z.
ठीक है ठीक है ठीक है, ओके सर।
ओके और कोई डाउट बेटा? Okay, very good. Let's proceed ahead then.
And departure from DR to Z is 71.3 minutes east. We know then what to do. DR lat is known to us, 17 degrees 41 minutes south. D lat we have just obtained to point X, and we apply, we get the latitude of point Z. So we have got the latitude of point Z. We obtain the mean lat between DR lat and Z. We convert the departure into D lat. Sorry, we convert the departure into D long, my mistake. And the D long comes to 1 degree 15 minutes east. We apply this D long to the DR long, and that shall give us the longitude of Z. And therefore, at the end of this working, we are able to obtain the coordinates of point Z. So that means when I go to the graph, I don't have to plot the DR, I don't have to plot this first PL, I don't have to plot this triangle. I can straight away come to point Z and transfer this first PL through point Z.
So beta, is it clear up to here?
सर एक बार कैलकुलेशन देखने दो सर बस।
Okay beta, have a look. I have stopped here, I have paused.
सर एक बार कैलकुलेशन समझाएंगे सर, ऊपर से dr let d let
जा रहा हूँ
dr
बेटा।
to point x आ गया अपने पास।
देखो बेटा, सबसे पहले तो हमने ये टेबल में से रिजल्टेंट डी लैट और रिजल्टेंट डिपार्चर निकाला, दैट इज बाय एडिंग अप ऑल द 3 कोर्सेज, 3 लेग्स। तो हमारे पास 52.5 एंड 71.3 ईस्ट, ये डी लैट और डिपार्चर आ गए। अप टू हियर क्लियर?
यस सर।
ओके, अब बेटा हमने डी आर पोजिशन से स्टार्ट करना है। हमारा डी आर लैटिट्यूड क्या है? 1741। हमने 1741 पे 52.5 साउथ का डी लैट अप्लाई कर दिया। दोनों के दोनों साउथ थे, 1741 भी साउथ है, डी लैट भी साउथ है, तो ये ऐड हो गए। हमें फाइनल लैटिट्यूड मिल गया 1833.5 साउथ।
ठीक है सर, ओके सर।
ओके, अब बेटा हमने क्या किया?
ठीक है, एमलेट निकाल लिया सर, फिर वहां से
निकाला, इनिशियल और फाइनल लैट का मीन निकाला।
ठीक है सर।
अब हमें डिपार्चर मिल गया था बेटा टेबल से 71.3 ईस्ट। सो हमने इस डिपार्चर को डी लॉन्ग में कन्वर्ट कर दिया। कैसे कन्वर्ट किया? हमें पता है डी लॉन्ग इज इक्वल टू डिपार्चर बाय कॉस ऑफ एम लैट। ओके,
ठीक है सर, आगे तो वही सेम कैलकुलेशन आगे समझ आ गया सर।
राइट, ये डी लॉन्ग आ गया। इस डी लॉन्ग को हमने इनिशियल लॉन्जिट्यूड पे अप्लाई किया विच वाज 179.50 एंड वी गॉट द फाइनल लॉन्जिट्यूड। ओके बेटा,
ठीक है
सर
सर,
ये जो डील
थैंक यू सर।
टेबल में डीलेट एंड डिपार्चर, इसकी नेमिंग सर हम क्वाड्रेंटल फिगर से उठा लेते हैं ना सर?
यस बेटा, दैट इज राइट। यू सी द कोर्स, क्वाड्रेंटल कोर्स, जो भी क्वाड्रेंट होगा
तो वहीं से सर इसके दोनों की उठाएंगे।
यस दैट्स राइट।
और सर जो भी डिपार्चर रहेगा वही हमारा डीलोंग की भी साइन रहेगी ना सर?
करेक्ट बेटा, दैट इज राइट।
ओके सर।
ओके, और कोई डाउट बेटा? Okay, very good. So beta, ultimately now we have calculated the position of point Z. ये Z point हमारे पास आ गया है, latitude as well as longitude. Now we can draw the transferred PL directly from point Z. अगर मैं point Z को plot करूं और इस direction में जो हमारे intercept वाली PL की direction है एक PL draw कर दूं, then I have the transferred PL on my plot. So let us now see the plotting.
So I'm sure this concept of day's work, which we're all conversant with, use of parallel and plane sailing concept, we're all conversant with. Looking at the rough diagram, if the rough diagram was not made, it could sometimes be confusing. Why? Because actually the vessel was somewhere on the PL, so vessel's movement has been from the PL only. But we had to include this so that we could get the coordinates of point Z. So now having got point Z through which to transfer the PL, it's lat long. We also know the direction of the transferred PL. It shall be perpendicular to the azimuth in the morning. That shall be 171 degrees to 351 degrees true. We know that the second observation has been latitude by meridian altitude. So observed lat is 18 degrees 40 minutes south. Direction of the second PL is east-west. D lat from Z to observed lat is 6.5 minutes south. So you can see it's 6.5 minutes south. Now having got this, now it's a case of simultaneous observations. Only thing is one is a transferred PL, other is an observed PL. So we get going with the plot. We have on the screen latitude of Z coming up here. We have the longitude of Z coming up here. So obviously point Z is here at the intersection of the two. So that is point Z. It's through point Z that the transferred PL has to be drawn. We are all conversant with this part. So there comes the transferred PL with two arrows at each end. Now we choose on a suitable scale. 1 centimeter is equal to 1 mile. Why? Because the D lat is only 6.5 minutes south. So we can just mark that off and mark the observed lat. So here comes the observed lat. That is the lat at the time of second observation. The second PL shall coincide with the observed lat being east-west. So here comes the second PL. PL at the time of Marpas. So now this transferred PL and the second PL are for the same time. So this is the position of the vessel at the time of second observation. And now we know that the latitude is directly visible on the screen. We can read off the departure on the screen from the graph, which is 1 minute east from longitude of Z. Departure is converted into D long. You can see all this working coming on the screen. And then that D long is applied to the longitude of Z, and that gives us the fixed long. And eventually we get the coordinates of this fix as 18 degrees 40 minutes south, 178 degrees 53.9 minutes west. Please see here, this longitude of 1.8 minutes east applied to longitude of Z gives us this longitude of fix, and therefore through deployment of our knowledge of simultaneous observations, we can get this plot done and get our answer.
ओके बेटा
सर पीछे फिगर में
हाँ
1.0 लिखा है ना, डिपार्चर 1.1 नहीं आएगा ना उधर? अच्छा डिपार्चर 1.0 ही है, ठीक है सर, डिपार्चर
राइट
1.0
सर
ही है।
डिपार्चर 1.0 है।
राइट डिपार्चर इज
ठीक है
1.
सर, ठीक है, ओके।
D long is 1.1. Okay, so have a good look now at the plot and let me know beta in case of any doubts.